does that though? Because like
Not really. I think all
do you-
smart business, agnostic of the industry, is having to pivot that way, especially with the work from home movement that happened during COVID. Getting people back into the office isn't the same way. There's not this metaphorical gun to the head, you better come back to work. So you have to create an environment that is superior to the experience at home. Otherwise, people are going to fight you tooth and nail.
and
So
by the
I
way,
think
I
that
think
was a
that's
silver lining for COVID, is that it made everyone up their games a
and
little
it
bit.
was, I think, the big push for the Great Resignation. It wasn't just about pay. It was about like looking holistically at your life work, at your work, your life at work rather, and really examining it. You know, maybe not going back to that same job because it didn't have meaning. It just had money, or didn't have the gym or the restaurant or whatever else that you're offering.
Yeah.
We'll pivot. I know, Chandler, I know you didn't want to come on here and be our culture ambassador. But I do, and I want to use your knowledge, Rex, to get back to not dollars and cents. Because I think, to Craig's point, there's a little bit of fear in the streets, especially because we as dentists, we as humans see headlines that say, oh man, another 75 basis points, another this, right? And in that short amount of time where the Fed is desperately trying to reel in this massive inflation, and look, it's going in the right direction right now, right? But when they're massively trying to reel it in, they only have one other lever to pull. That's the aggression of pulling in basis points, raise the interest rates to slow down, to cool down the environment. But to Craig's point, historically, it's still crazy low, right? Like, I actually grew up in the time period of Nixon and Reagan in those times, right? I mean, granted, I was a baby, but shit, we had 20% interest rates, you know, at certain points. I mean, it peaked at 20% interest rates, and people were still, good businesses were still able to borrow money and grow. So dentistry done right still beats that from a yield perspective, meaning that if I'm going to borrow $100 worth of capital, I should be able to have a yield greater than 20%, even if we were at 20% margins, right? Not to mention the tax advantages of taking money, the expansion, things like that. So I think my point is, and I'm going to land this plane here, so bear with me. And I think you actually even mentioned it. When we were at 3, does it make that much more sense when you're at 5 to expand? Is the delta on that money that much of a catastrophic difference? The answer is no, because if your foot is on the gas, your foot is on the gas. Would you agree?
I would agree with you wholeheartedly, right? Like, that delta, can you produce that much more? 2% more?
The
What's
2% is almost a rounding error sometimes in like your P&L of like me, not really, but like meaning the margins of dentistry done right has enough buffer where that becomes irrelevant. Now, if you're in the restaurant business, or if you're in
8% top
the
margin,
GPC market, or direct, consumer product, CPG market, like you don't have that kind of, consumer
Or
product
real
goods. You don't have
estate.
that kind of stuff.
Real estate where your cap rate's built into the
Real estate where your cap
rate.
rates, right? It's the direct analog, cap rate in, cap rate out, so to speak.
Yeah,
but also
lower margin businesses.
One thing to consider too, I just want to
Well, it's the arbitrage game, like Craig's saying, right? You have to almost, they're saying, look, I can borrow money at 5 and I can yield 7 in this cap rate. Therefore, like my VIG is 2%. But like that makes a big difference because of the profitability of your investment, right? Risk versus reward.